What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJ Sear channel dedicated to Juventus. Coming off the 1-0 loss in Champions League to Real Madrid. Winless in 7 matches. Where do you go from here? The pressure mounting. Tudor, a ton of speculation. We have even more maybe turmoil arising from yesterday, but a match that is seen with mixed views across the fan base, and we're ready to tackle that and everything in the aftermath. And we do have maybe one headline in the news today, but we're going to tackle it all together. I've got Mas, I've got Paolo. Paolo, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to you guys. I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good. Ready to tackle this one and everything that was Real and Juve 1-0? Beauty, beauty. Mas, how's it going?
We didn't get blown out, guys. Yeah.
Well, hey, that's step one. That's step one. That's step one. Are there building blocks, though?
Everybody, yeah, it's going good, man. Everything's good.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it. You guys, everybody in the chat, great to see you in here. Tim Dahl, Sikoko, Alex Juve, Bino. Guys, drop a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, tuning in. All right. And without wasting too much time, let's get into it, because there's a lot to talk about around this current Juve right now, and we've got to get down to business. And we all know, you could see it right there in the header, there's 7 games, there's no wins in that 7-game stretch, and everybody's asking the same question: what now from Juventus? But let's take a look at this game, and we will get through the highlights to get into the aftermath and start to answer that question: what now? Your starting 11 was Di Gregorio, Gatti, Rugani, and Kelly as your 3 center backs. Across the middle of the pitch, Kalulu, Cope Miners, Thuram, Cambiaso, McKennie, and Yildiz, with Vlahovic round things out at the top. So we were hearing 3-5-2. It did play out to a standard 3-4-2-1, but McKennie was kind of utilized as that hybrid player from the midfield to advancing. We're going to rifle through some of these highlights. I actually think Juve started off really well in that opening minutes. 15, I'd say. Opening 15 minutes. McKennie ended up just having a line of sight, firing a shot. It looked like it was going wide, but he forced Courtois to think about it at least. Gatti ended up getting up there at one point, moments later, having a really good rip. Actually, almost caught Courtois. That was a really big save from him. But as those minutes started to count up, you could start to feel the influence coming from Real Madrid, and they started to do what we expected, which was them dominate the ball. And 24th minute is where it kind of started. They were starting to get their attempts. And then you had Brahim Diaz with a spinning shot. Good stop from Di Gregorio. And Di Gregorio, a massive, massive game. 39th minute. This was a little unfortunate for Kelly, who I thought read the play very well. Stepped up on Brahim Diaz right at the top of the area. Somehow, some way, his ball bounces around. He still gets behind him. This guy from the ground found Mbappe. It was a great piece of athleticism from Brahim Diaz. Found Mbappe on the run, back post. This was a massive save from Di Gregorio, keeping us at 0-0. Huge, huge stop at the 39th minute. We get to the second half. Man, very lucky here, and like a pass back almost with way too much heat. And I think a defender pressuring the Real Madrid player in our area. Militao caught way too far up, and we should have caught them more, to be fair. They were playing so high. But Vlahovic has the jump on him. Fought him from halfway the entire way. Just couldn't slip it past Courtois. That was a big one there, where you have the opportunity to go back. Big chance, 39th minute for Mbappe. Huge chance for Juve and Vlahovic. It remains at 0s. And then 56th minute, like 7 minutes later, Vinicius Jr. Just in the area, and Kalulu and McKennie right around him, and between the two of them, they couldn't stop him from getting that shot. Back post, And of course, it bounces right back at the feet of Bellingham. That's the 1-0 right there. And from there, 70th minute, you get another big double save from Di Gregorio. Huge stops, keeping us at ones. We get some substitutions, 74th minute. Locatelli, Openda, and David all come on for Vlahovic, Yildiz, Cope Miners. We get a beautiful 1-2. Everything looked great on this sequence. Gatti spotting the run behind the defense, playing a perfect ball to Openda. Openda over to David. David, the one touch right back. All sorts of time and space. Shits his pants, man. Took too long. Shot gets blocked, and that's it. And then we relied on Kostic to come in as a substitute, save the day. He had a rip against Courtois, but way too close to Courtois. It ends there at 1-0, everybody. And yeah, you know what? This one stings. We had a few opportunities in there. This was a foul on Thuram there, we'll talk about. But, man, this is crazy. This just shows you the lack of confidence our guys have in that final third. For that to not end up with anything on target is crazy in a Champions League magnitude game. I'm almost at a loss with something like this, you know, guys.
It's like we said, he's dribbling a grenade, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy,
not
but
even
it goes to show you.
Like you said, how does that not even result in a shot?
Yeah, it just ends up in a block. Raul Asensio had enough time to clean up that distance. And at that level, at Champions League like this, to not come out with something testing the keeper is crazy. It's crazy.
That image is actually the perfect definition of what our final third issues are, right?
Yeah, and we'll get into it because, that's your highlights for this one. I'll hit you with the numbers behind this match, and then I want to get your guys' feelings, how you came out of that game at the 90 minutes. 34% possession for Juventus, so heavily favored there for Real Madrid, 66%. 28 total attempts for Real Madrid, 3 big chances. 13 total attempts for Juventus, 2 big chances created. Guys, give me your thoughts on this match at 90 minutes, at the end of it. What were your thoughts and feelings on it? Mas, kick us off, then we'll get to Paulo.
Yeah, listen, I think, like you said, they came out strong. I was actually surprised the way they came out. It was pretty aggressive. I think overall we played a pretty solid game, probably one of our better games of the year, coming off of a pretty tough loss at Como. It's like you said, there are some building blocks there that we'll talk about, but at the end of the day, our offensive deficiencies, reared their head again, and we're hard done by not walking out of there with at least a point, unfortunately, because we did have our opportunities. But yeah, I think overall it was a good effort. But
was it better than what you expected was going to happen?
Oh, I was thinking it was going to be like 3-4-0. So okay. Only lose by 1 is definitely a treat. But I mean, it's sad that that's where we're at now, where we're applauding a good effort versus expecting to get a result walking into.
But I think that's also coming from the contrast of the Como match versus this one.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. But Paulo, your thoughts at the 90, your feelings on this game when it ended?
Well, as Ed Sheeran says, I'm in love with the shape of you, and I think at the end of 90 against Real Madrid, playing in a conservative, low block way is not the way I want Juve to proceed forward. It's not the way I want us to identify ourselves as ourselves on the pitch, but it worked. It was organized. We absorbed a lot of pressure. We dealt with a team playing the way we should expect them to play. We blocked, we held up, we tracked, We kept a shape that we haven't been able to keep, even though it was and is probably one of the easiest shapes in football to play. But we executed it. We got our chances. I knew that we would get a few. We couldn't bury them, but I was expecting a lot worse. And the boys were outmanned and outcoached. That is clear, and that game made that obvious. But we went in with a plan and executed it. I'm happy about that. It is one of the easiest plans to execute, but at least we did that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to the words coming out of the game from coach and everything, because you can see Tomas saying the players and Tudor making it look like it's a great game and success is embarrassing. I didn't actually feel that way or see that. I think there was a lot of anger because they've had the same shortcomings that have popped up in this game against Real Madrid as well. And everybody's going to have their own feelings to this match and whatnot. I actually left with the feeling that if we get it right and can actually, stack up the good things that came out of this match, that's our biggest detriment and downfall this season so far. We haven't taken the good things that we've seen and actually added to them or continued with them, for that matter. You have to stop that nonsense if you want this team to progress. So you need to take the good things that were there yesterday and you need to build off them. But what those things are, everybody has their own little spin on them, and we're going to get to that. But as far as the game goes, there's only one way you can approach that game. This was the only way you could approach that game, especially coming off, the run that we were at with all those draws, second guessing and questioning everything from setup to starting 11 to positions. Like, it's just, that's the only way you can walk into the Bernabeu and play. And I actually think that they didn't do that bad a job. The shot count is huge, 28 attempts to 13. But the big chances were 3-2 for Madrid to Juve. And for me, I'll look more at that rather than all these attempts from everywhere, because Juve did a good job of the first thing that they had to do, which was make the majority of Real Madrid's possession rather stale and on the perimeter. So they did a lot of that. In the end, it's a situation where you'd like two of your guys surrounding Vinny in the area to get that ball and not get beat there. And then Gatti's on the backside of both of those guys, but Vinny didn't actually make the run in pursuit. He just shot it quick. At the end of the day, they're inside the area. They probably don't want to concede a PK, and maybe that's why it softens up. But Vinny's been making guys look stupid for a long time also. So it's one of those things that in the end, that difference in quality, that difference in coming up clutch in one of those moments or one of those sequences in a game comes back to get you. But now we got to look at everything in the aftermath. We will quickly get into the players themselves. And I know a lot of fans were upset about, this particular moment and looking back at it after with this challenge. I mean, these things happen all the time, man. It sucks, but would that have made a difference if it goes red? Absolutely, it would have helped. I would like to think, but it's what ifs, and we can't worry about what ifs because Juve's not playing well enough to worry about what ifs. Juve needs to worry about Juve. You guys agree?
Yeah, 100%. For sure.
All right. Now.
Yeah, but I will say this. I just want to give a quick take to Real Madrid because they pull this shit all the time, and the refs are scared to punish big teams. And I'm going to make a generalization there. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's just my emotion. But that should have been and could have been a red, and it wasn't even considered. And Madrid love to play the refs just like the big clubs do. And it's an added challenge when you're a team playing them.
Tomas saying versus Madrid or Barca, you always go against the refs as well. I mean, yeah, I had to laugh in the match where Huijsen Huijsen ends up getting a red there. They literally pull up an appeal, make a big thing about it. Like, he's having a press conference over it. Real Madrid had a press conference over it. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. But nonetheless, it is what it is. The ratings.
We didn't do ourselves any favors there, though, because we didn't really complain about the call either. I think if we would have made a bigger deal about, we didn't crowd the ref, nothing. We just kind of, okay, it's a yellow, let's move on.
I think it's tough too because you can't claim, like, VAR could step in when it's clear or not. The ref is standing right there, and him making that, like, they're not going to step in on it. He's literally right there next to the play. It's over. He gives a yellow. He flashes a yellow. It's done.
You can break a guy's ankle doing that, and there was a bad tackle right before that.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of reason for the ref to think twice about whatever he was seeing.
Yeah, like, I mean, he's right there. Like,
you can break your ankle.
Like, they're not going to step in, right? He's going to say, no, yellow, okay. Now, ratings. Di Gregorio, 7.8. Make that thing a 9. Gatti, an 8. Rugani, 6.5. Kelly, 6.8. Kalulu, 6.1. Cope, 6.3. Thuram, 7.1. Cambiasso, 6.9. McKennie, 6.8. Yildiz, 6.3. Vlahovic, a 6.7. Practically everybody off the bench was around the same 6.5, 6.6 range. Guys, is there anybody other than Di Gregorio for, if you have to give the man of the match to someone from Juve? I mean, it's got to be Di Gre, right?
Yeah, all respect to Gatti in that situation. He had a strong game, but Di Gre at a 7.8 underneath Gatti is criminal to me. You know, I hope this officially kind of puts to bed the whole Di Gregorio isn't of, Juve standard, because that game could have been a lot worse if not for him.
It's a discussion
yesterday.
I never even gave any life to. It's just not even. He's a solid keeper.
It's out there though, right?
But Gatti had a good game too.
Vlahovic, I would probably go a little higher on Vlahovic. I thought, I mean, even without a goal, I thought that was one of his better games in a Juve kit. To be honest, I thought he was pretty strong. But I just want to know when we're putting Gatti up to forward. I'm just waiting for that to happen. Let's get it going.
A hell of a rip up there, man. I'll tell you that. And then a great pass for Openda there on that one. Still gonna want it back, but Paulo, Di Gre, easily man of the match. Juve.
Yeah, I like Di Gre a lot. I think he's great. I get concerned with how he uses his feet sometimes. He doesn't come out and challenge for some things, like that cross into Como, where I think he could have come out and got a piece of it. But he's a great shot blocker. On his line, he's fantastic. He's got a big heart, and he's tough. So he did fantastic. I think Rugani and a couple of other guys get a bit of credit too defensively. Altogether, the team passed its way out of some real problems. So I think some of the defensive accuracy numbers were pretty good for the squad overall. And a bit of a shout to Rugani and some of the other guys, Gatti guys, who did a pretty good job. And, of course, Di Gre, man of the match. I think so. Some wonderful saves. Those are the saves he can make. And he looked great.
Yeah. Now, a flop. If you got to pick a flop out of the match, who's your flop? Individuals. Were there any individuals you give the flop to?
For me, I would probably give it to Yildiz, to be honest. I don't think he had a very strong game at all. He only had 30 touches the whole game. He was pretty much marked out from the beginning. What did he get, a 6.3 rating, I think I saw there?
Yeah, 6.3.
I think that's being generous.
Would you have made that change? Would you have kept him on when we made the round of subs? Because a lot of fans were saying, why are we taking Yildiz out?
No, he wasn't really contributing anything. I mean, at that point, you needed to change, so I was okay with it, to be honest.
You were okay with it? Paulo, did you think he should have stayed on at that time?
I'm going to give Yildiz a pass, mainly because I think he was playing more in the middle at times, which I'm really excited about. I want him to be more in the middle. He's always double, triple marked. He defends as well as tries to push forward. he wasn't able to do too much, so I'm going to give him a break on that. For the amount of chances Kalulu had down the right wing, he was really frustrating. He was available 3, 4, 5, 6 times with a great opportunity and wasn't able to do too much with it. So a bit of a flop there for me. McKennie, guys like that who are kind of on the cusp for me of players that need to be improved upon, they're always a little bit floppy. So I would not go and give that to Yildiz. I'd probably give it to maybe Openda for not taking advantage of that opportunity, even though he hasn't had a lot of time and a lot of chances to get confident. Yeah. You got to bury that one. So maybe Kalulu or Openda for the chances they had that they really couldn't take, and that's disappointing.
Yeah, I'll be quite honest. If I'm going to give a flop out to anybody, it's probably going to go to someone in the attack that had a moment to strike, only because I can't get behind the Thuram shouts. Some people were really ragging on Thuram, and I thought in the moments he did have opportunities. He did drive the ball, and he was making something happen. There were some key sequences that literally only happened because of his feet and his footwork. And then sadly, we got Kalulu in a lot of opportunities and a lot of situations to do some damage. And that's part of a downfall yesterday, is when it's that guy that just can't get that done, unfortunately. So you start to ask questions about the coach and if you should have recognized that and switched up, because Cambiasso was getting shout out too. And I'm gonna go on the record by saying I would not name him as one of my flops. I wouldn't. And the reason was because the game dictated what happened to Cambiasso. They had Valverde on the right outside, and he pushed the entire game. That alone leaves Cambiasso very, very pretty much pinned back and ruled out from being that attacking force. So I've had issues with Cambiasso, no doubt, but he doesn't get it for yesterday's game. That's just a victim of the circumstances. There's a reason Kalulu ended up being that guy, because Carreras on the other side was who they were keeping back with Militao and Asensio. That's who Xabi Alonso was keeping back. And we did a good job for the most part shutting down Vinny, but that's where the space to go back at them was on that side, because Vinny wants to get involved. He's higher up. Valverde was pinning back there, but Kalulu's got the wheels and the pace. He got himself in those moments. If maybe you want to look at something, the only something there would have been to try Joao Mario there, but everybody knows you're sketched out about the same thing, which is the defensive prowess, right? So it's, do you go that brave? Do you risk it? Or do you stay the way it is? And you were still generating chances, and you generated at the end of the day the same amount of big chances. So it's one of those things. Damned if you do, damned if you don't type scenario maybe. But let's get into some thoughts from fans on the post, and then we'll get to some of the words from our coach and even Del Piero. So the fans, thoughts on Real Madrid. We got Jimmy Stallion saying, where was this Juve on the weekend? Because they fought. They fought, and I think at the end, we're unlucky to get 1, maybe 2 goals out of this game. Senor Matan, the performance was good. The tactics made sense. Don't have a big issue with the team selection either. There's a lack of quality up top. They have Mbappe, Vinny. They have Rodrigo, who didn't even play. We have Yildiz, and that's effectively it. There was some fight and desire today. Still feel that Tudor subs are questionable and often made too late. This game could turn around this season if managed well by Tudor. So another fan seeing some building blocks there. And then you have another comment in here that simply says, Tudor must leave. Okay, so there you go. That's blunt. Now, let's get to Tudor's words. Tudor, yes, said everything I wanted to say. There's nothing more to add. The boys are disappointed because they felt we deserved to score at least 1 goal. There's the disappointment, but this is the path forward. Let's move on. We played a good game. We're disappointed, angry about the defeat, but we have to prepare the best we can for Lazio. Yes, he says, we did very well. I like the team's personality, but Real Madrid puts you back there and makes you suffer. We did well what we had prepared. Then we conceded a goal thanks to Vinicius, who has incredible individual quality in the middle of a three-man defense. I don't know. There were three of them. Maybe they were too respectful or afraid to give the penalty. It's a matter of the pitch and football. What was missing about missed goals? Precision, maybe. I don't know. We know the difficulties in this stadium. Those who played, those who didn't can imagine against the monsters they have. They have players who beat you 3 times in 2 minutes. I think we deserved at least a sure goal. The lads inside are disappointed because they think we deserved this point. We had a good approach, the desire to go, but then we struggled. And it's right that we suffer. It's a shame about the opportunities, about not having to put the ball in. Everyone must always be a leader. From that standpoint, we are a little below what I'd like because, as we've commented many times, the Juventus shirt weighs more than others. We need to grow in that regard. I don't know if it's through matches because there are players who joined Juventus a couple of years ago in a new team who all found themselves in a situation where they were missing a bit of the weight. The champions that usually find themselves in a team like this. It's interesting to hear him talk like that because there was a big moment where Locatelli was benched going into this game. And you're talking about leaders. I asked the question specifically on the pregame show, who are your leaders of this club? Unanimously, Locatelli was named. So I'm going to ask you fellas the question. And it's very, very simple. Did Tudor get things wrong? Did he set up Juve the only way he could? Is this a squad or coach that is the ultimate limiting factor? Did he kind of have an own goal in leadership by sitting Locatelli? What do you think? Let's start with Paolo. What's your view of Tudor's performance in this match?
I think he got it right. I always want to see Locatelli in there somehow because I think he's not going to grab the ref by the throat and scream. He's not going to yell at guys and call them out in the middle of a game. He's not that kind of a aggressive leader, but he can lead through consistency and what he can do with the ball and with trying to create opportunities. So I'm going to park that because I don't know if he should have started or not. I like to see him in there, but I think Tudor got it right. And I hear and see a lot of people saying we shouldn't be satisfied with this. How can you be happy losing 1-0? And I get the disappointment. But I think we have to, unfortunately, accept that we don't have a great coach and we don't have a great squad. And Real Madrid has a better coach, a better system, and a better squad. They have better people at every position. So if you think you're going to go in and teach them a Juve lesson, it's unrealistic. And I think Tudor got it right. It's the only way he could have done this. And the problem is he hasn't figured out how to do it in games before today. And only today against a really good team did he do the simplest thing and get it right. So I'm not happy about it, but he didn't get it wrong.
And Mas, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Paulo made some good points. I mean, he set up the team really the only way he could based on availability. I mean, my only gripe in that lineup was possibly giving João Mario a chance over Kalulu. It's, I think they both have defensive deficiencies, but I think João Mario offers a little more offensively, so I would have liked to have seen him. So in terms of lineup, other than that, I think that's the Loca thing. It bothers me a bit because you're not setting up your team in the best possible position going into a game that you're going to be a severe underdog regardless, right? And it's starting to worry me a little bit that Tudor is getting into these games with, okay, I'll try the 4-3-3 formation just because you guys are breaking my balls about it, right? And now we have this issue with him and Locatelli that, that might grow into something bigger, right? it's these little things that we saw with Mota last year as well that might turn into bigger things along the way here, and that's a little concerning to me. But
I don't think it's going to turn into something, but like if I'm looking at this and I'm looking at Tudor in this game, I'm going to know more about Tudor in the next matchup against Lazio and what comes from it here out of this, because there are some building blocks there. I'm sure we'll get into that. But that midfield, when you're watching it and you're seeing how aggressive Real Madrid is and you want to play a transitional game, the best passing midfielder that you have isn't even on the pitch before you even talk leadership. I'm screaming for getting Locatelli in at the second half about 50, 55 minutes. I said, I've had enough. Like, it's time. Get him in there. And I was almost ridiculed by a lot of the people in the watch along saying, Coop's doing just fine. He's doing nothing. He's doing bare minimum. It's just what we've come to expect from him. It's like that's a good game for Cope Miners based on what he's been doing at Juve, but he offered nothing. Nothing. That's the truth. And if you're going to look at this, Cope Miners in passing, like there was nothing there. 20 passes, no key passes, low count on progressive passes. I think it took Locatelli no time at all to crack those numbers, and he started splashing it around against our high line, giving our attackers some options. But he also had a two-striker setup as opposed to one, which was a little bit different for Cope Miners. I'll give him the break there, but I'm sorry, like Locatelli's easily your best passing midfielder because Thuram barely ever even tries through balls or to try and switch field or spread the ball out. It's very rare that he does it. McKennie actually does. He'll try it. He'll go for it. But that guy is running around like crazy. Half the time you're just hoping that he can retain the ball enough. It's not enough from Cope there for me. And I think I would have liked Loca in.
I hear what you're saying, Bert, and I think one thing that occurred to me when I went through the stats yesterday was nobody had really good offensive stats. If you look at the defensive side of the ball and all the defensive stats, all of them had pretty good numbers, accuracy for passing, etc. So I think defensively, everybody did a pretty good job. Offensively, I think everybody kind of struggled. We didn't get a lot of chances there. But what's interesting, what you bring up about Locatelli, is when he could have come in around the 50th minute or earlier, well, 55, whatever it is, Real Madrid were frustrated, annoyed, impatient, greedy, spoiled. They spent so much time going forward to try and get 5 goals in the first 10 minutes that they became vulnerable. And a guy like Loca coming in early, for example, could have probably exploited that a lot more often, a lot sooner, and benefited from a really selfish, spoiled, arrogant Real Madrid side that at that point had 9 attackers, 8 attackers. So I think there's a missed opportunity there with Locatelli for sure. But defensively, I think they all had pretty good numbers, even guys like Coop.
It's hard to say flat out Tudor got it right because there's only one way you can approach this game. There was only one route for him. We said the same thing with Thiago Motta last season against Man City. There's only one game you can approach. There's only one way you can approach these games. So
it was almost the same thing.
Yeah, it's like this is the way to play this game. It's the only way. But there's some, key things that you look at, key elements here and there that maybe you could have swayed things in your direction. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to go in on Tudor. I just think it's a weird situation there with Locatelli because I'll stand firm on he's easily the best passer in the midfield that you have, period. And without that, it makes a transitional game just a little bit more difficult. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, that's the only plan he could have had going forward. So I think if you're looking at Tudor on this game, this isn't the game to make or break. And we knew that wasn't going to be the game to make or break, right?
Yeah.
These next ones are going to be critical. Lazio, Udinese, Cremonese, right? So we go from that. Squad or coach, what is the limiting factor? Do you think that, again, just going down to the team, is it a tactical piece we're missing? Is it straight up a difference maker on the team? Do you still think we are just missing traits that we don't have? People are hung up on, a creative midfielder.
Yeah, I think we talked about this in the pod earlier this week, and I think the response I gave at that point was roster, but putting more thought into it, I think it's somewhere in between is where the answer lies. Because Berto, you've said it before. I mean, you should be able to get more out of the roster that we have. It's not a world-class roster by any means, but it's a good enough team to beat Como at the end of the day. But there's some glaring issues on this team in terms of roster as well, that we need to kind of accept, because at the end of the day, sometimes we're just not good enough. I mean, there was no way we were going to match a roster with Real Madrid yesterday. That's clearly not the case. But on the other hand, like we always say it, right? We knew Tudor's tactical limitations going in. I mean, I don't believe the guy spent more than a year at any team he's coached, right? Because eventually, his true self kind of comes out and he moves on. So, yeah, I think it's somewhere in between. To be honest, it's somewhere in the middle. I think tactically we need a better coach that can read the game better and be able to make some changes, be able to get more out of the roster that we have. But there's some glaring issues in terms of roster as well that we need to correct going forward.
We talked about the substitutions there yesterday. I wasn't too broken up about them. I mean, I was shouting for one of them to happen sooner with Locatelli. I think even if you're talking about McKennie looked pretty gassed. I actually thought I would leave Cope Miners out there and maybe take McKennie first, but I said take your pick.
Turin was gassed.
Yeah, they were pretty gassed, and that's what that kind of game does to you. We talked about it and why ball retention is so important. Yeah, it's it's a tough one. I think it's a little bit of everything. I mean, and this is where it's going to get interesting. Do we see, Miretti being able to help this team when he comes back? It depends what you take as building blocks out of this game. Are there any building blocks? I mean, let's ask the question. Is there a blueprint for you that comes out of this match, even though it's a defeat? Is there a blueprint there for you, for Juventus, that you feel confident this is the way forward for this team? Because I have one. Do you? Chat. Do you have a blueprint for Juve moving forward? Do you guys like to hear mine?
Give her.
I saw a lot of things I liked, but I think there is a blueprint clear as day for this squad if you're going to move forward, okay? You have to have 3 midfielders in the lineup for this team. It's just a must. It's the only shot you have at balance is 3 midfielders. And I think if you're going to try to get something out of these guys up top, you can't keep going with one guy at the top because they're not getting enough chances. So you have to kind of attack it, and I would go to a 2 striker setup. I would. 3 mids, 2 strikers. Kenan, Yildiz as your 10. And I know that everybody's going to say, what does this do for Chico? What does this do for these? You'll still be able to get those guys in. You don't have to lock into that at all points, okay? I'm quite confident Chico could also play in a supportive role. And that can also play as 3 attackers. Because Openda, he's not your prototypical lead guy. He needs somebody else up top for him to play off, he's not just an out-and-out lone guy, lone 9. Like, that's not him. So for me, 3 mids, 2 strikers. I'd play Kenan as a 10. And honestly, if you're going to do something like that with a 3-man backline, it's 3-5-2 with that diamond setup, but then Yildiz becomes one of your midfielders to get him advanced to get 2 strikers. So for me, I'm not hung up on 3-man backline. 4-3-1-2. Go 4-3-1-2 and go from there. That's what I would do. And we can't play games with all 4 of our center backs in the lineup. You can't play that way every game. So that's not a blueprint either. Somebody goes down, you're fucked. But that's my blueprint moving forward. But the absolute foundation of this blueprint, bring me that fight every single game. Not just when you're playing Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. If you approach the Cremonese, Udinese, even when Como, that last game, that was no fight. That was pathetic. We all said it was a pathetic display. That has to be there every single game. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I think we'll be okay. What do you guys think about my blueprint? Do you agree with it?
That's where the frustration lies, right? Well, to your blueprint, I agree with it 100% because with the 4-3-3, you're forced to play Yildiz out wide, where we've seen that he excels more in a central role, right? So yeah, I have no issues with what you said there. In terms of getting up for smaller teams, like this has been an issue with this team for ages, and that's where the frustration lies. It's because you're playing Real Madrid, you put in an effort like that, but then you go back to Serie A and it's you're laying eggs, right? And I think that comes back to leadership and experience as well. If you had more leaders on this team, you wouldn't have these sort of peaks and valleys that we're seeing. It would be a more consistent effort from the bunch. But I mean, if you need motivation to understand that, beating a lower side for 3 points is giving you a better chance at winning the league title, which is one of the most realistic objectives of the year, obviously. I mean, that's an issue, right? And that comes from your manager and that comes from the leaders on your team. So.
Okay. Paolo, what do you think about the blueprint? And what are your thoughts on just that fight? How do you keep that fight consistent? Why can't we?
There's a lot of things to unpack there. The blueprint, I want to backtrack a little bit. The last show, when you asked a question about coaching versus personnel, I was talking to myself at the screen while I was listening. And I think it's definitely coaching, not personnel, only because we have the players we have right now, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
I also agree with you. We've said this since we first met and talked about Juve. It starts at the top. The organization is run like a Starbucks, and they get concerned when customers have a bad experience or they start losing money. But right now you have this coach, you have these players. And I think the coach and the system is what you can handle right now, what you can change right now today. And I also thought when you were talking about the Como game, you also said it wasn't all bad or something. And I said, you're right. And it wasn't all bad because we had 3 in the middle for a change.
Yeah.
And Como is like a kid's middle school field. It's about the size of my backyard. You put 3 midfielders finally in the middle to try and keep shape. And that's why I said that Ed Sheeran thing, that keep shape. When you have 3 in the middle, you can start to establish back to middle to front. You can start to organize and move in shape, right? Unfortunately, they tried to do that against Como on a small field for the first time, and they didn't know what they were doing. So as far as leadership and grinta and all that stuff, I get it. But right now, it's not about that. It's about the players you have, the shape you have, and getting them used to passing in small spaces and moving up the field in a form. 3 in the middle allows you all these opportunities to control yourself, control your movement, move up and down in formation, and start to get things right. And then, because Real Madrid was an anomaly, that's a Man City thing, right? But Como, if you had tried the 3 in the middle earlier, and if you had coached your players into getting more comfortable with a simpler system for the quality of players we have to use, you'll get more out of them. And you'll be 0-0 against Como. Who knows, maybe you'll win. but you won't lose 2-0.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some things, and this is why we say we'll know about Tudor in the follow-up. That's where we're going to start to learn about this guy and know exactly when it's time to just say, no, that's it, is in the build-up. There are good things that have come, because you're right, even against Como, like the 3-minute, it helps the balance. It wasn't all bad there, but the one thing that's constant is that fight. That fight has to be there. That's the biggest thing, because this is the same constant that's been there past 5 years. You go
but doesn't
into
the fight
games.
come from being organized? Doesn't the fight come from knowing what you're doing? My son has been on a team with a bad coach at times, and if the players don't know what they're doing, they can run around and be all grinta, and they're going to do nothing and lose.
No, but this is going back to Max, man. This is going back to Max when he is an organizer. That is exactly what that guy does. And we don't have that fight. I can't tell you why, and that's the biggest struggle with this Juve is how do you keep that consistent? They have to find a way. I don't know what is going on, but I'm at my wit's end, because that should be non-negotiable. We shouldn't even be celebrating the fact that, hey, these guys fought. That should be a given. The fact that we as fans have to celebrate work rate and effort is a problem. That's what I'm saying. That's a big problem at Juve. That should go without question. So I don't know what the answer is. I'm not there day in, day out, but those guys that are have to figure out how you can show up to a game against Como and be flatter than flat with no desire, seemingly. To which even Del Piero, Thierry Henry, all those guys, you listen to the game, they're like, that's not a Juve side. It was, I don't even know what that was. That's a bare minimum. I don't have the answers. I'm not there following the day-to-day, but these guys have to figure out how to make that the norm, because it's non-negotiable. These guys need to be like robots. They need to be like robots. They need to live and die by the code that if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to spit blood. That's the old school way. That's the old school way at Juventus. They need to bring that back. Your game plan, your setup is half the battle. But is there too much focus on tactics and all this shit when half the battle is fight? Because the rest isn't going to matter. You can have all the tactics in the world. You can have the best game plan for a team. If you don't match it with the effort, compete, and fight, none of it will matter. So that's my biggest concern. And it's the base of any blueprint you have for Juve going forward. So the funny thing is, Tudor, Tudor's a rah guy. So how on earth can he not do it either? Hey.
Which comes first? The fight or the knowing where to be to bring that fight and execute it?
I hate to
Guys,
go back.
When you hit that level and you play that much, I am baffled at some of these guys. And I'm baffled with the discussions. And I'm sick and tired of hearing, this guy has to play here, this guy needs to play there, he can't play here, he can't. Fuck, man, when you grow up playing the game, you end up playing absolutely everywhere. And if you're a professional, at some point, do you not pick up on the ins and outs of this game? Like, it's crazy. Yes, it matters. It's all important. But god damn it, you can't show up to even a game against Como if you're gonna just play flat and have no fight. Like, none of that will matter. Whichever comes first, it doesn't matter because you need the other. So I don't care. You could say, yeah, the tactics come first. Great. You don't have fight, you ain't going to win. Fight comes first. Okay, that's great. But if you don't have the matching tactics, it won't matter either. It has to come together. But you can't be missing either. That's kind of the point. But what's missing more?
For me,
like that's the argument.
A lot of teams in Serie A don't have the depth of the quality, but they have guys with the attitude and the physicality and the instruction. So they execute. And when we're against Como trying to do little triangle passes all of a sudden with 3 midfielders, we don't know what the fuck we're doing because we haven't done it. And we're trying to pass our way in and around and out of a Como press, and we don't know what we're doing. So I agree with you, but at the same time, it's frustrating because we have more talented players than some teams in Serie A who do better because they have less talented players who just do their job. And that's where the tactics and the coaching keeps them relative.
For me, I mean, I hate to go back to it, but it comes back to accountability, right? Accountability and leadership. If you don't have leadership on the pitch within your squad to be able to call out players that aren't putting in 100% in training during the match, if your coach isn't going to do the same thing, you're just going to be accepting of the status quo, right? I don't see anybody on this team right now that is ready to call players out on their shit. So that's why you're seeing these kind of ups and downs and not consistent efforts. That's my problem, right? It's accountability.
Do you think there was something more to the Locatelli benching? Do you think he was trying to send some type of signal to some type of message?
This is my concern, right? Like I said, I'm worried that we're going down that path where we're playing these little games between coach and player, just for spite, as opposed to starting your best 11 for the result. I hope that's not the case, but it seems like it's trending that way.
Could it be the case, though? Like, I mean, if I'm looking at that roster based on the series of games, would Locatelli be the first guy I would make an effort or work rate stance on? It would probably be Cambiasso, who's played consecutively for I don't know how many games that have been sleepers. So I don't even know if it's a message thing. Like that whole thing was weird. So it's very interesting. Now, the funny thing was we kind of we talk about tactics, we talk about positions. I say I'm sick of, position talk or whatnot, but Yildiz is a kind of this talking point right now where he's kind of starting to become a little stale. But I said, watch guys, because things are going to ramp up and it's going to be up to us to adapt as a team. It's not all on him because he's going to get game planned. Teams are going to game plan for Yildiz. We have to be ahead of that. We haven't figured it out, and Cambiasso's had struggles. We give him the pass for yesterday because of how the game went and what they did with Valverde. That's fine. But Yildiz, does it matter where he plays? Should he play as a 10? Because that's part of my blueprint moving forward. And the way you start to look at it is he'll have more space. He'll have more space to operate, find pockets, and whatnot. Do you guys agree? Should Yildiz be utilized as a 10 to help with the game planning against him? Paolo, why don't you kick us off?
Absolutely. I've been crying for 2 years to get Yildiz in the middle. Let him play wherever he fucking wants to play. He's by far your best player, without a doubt. You take your best player, you put your best player exactly where they want to be and say, do whatever the fuck you want. And all you knobheads around him, watch him and move where he needs you to move so he can do what he does. Fucking stronzos.
Nice. Love a good Stronzo. By the way,
tell me how you really feel.
By the way, speaking of Stronzos, Justin B. Just kidding, brother. Just kidding. He gifted 5 memberships today. We love you, brother. And it's his birthday. So tanti auguri to Justin, okay? So happy birthday, brother. Wishing you all the best on your birthday, okay? Now, with that said, fucking Stronzo. Mas, Yildiz, do we need to make that adjustment with him?
Yeah, I think based on what we've seen in his career so far, he does play better centrally than he does out wide. He kind of gets lost out there. But I think you nailed it when you said teams are starting to game plan for him, right? You saw the beginning of the season where he was on an absolute tear, and now it's starting to peel back a bit. And listen, at the end of the day, it's very easy to game plan against a team that has very little options like we do, right? When Yildiz and potentially Conceição are your only 2 threats, I mean, it's very easy to take those guys out of the game. So if I'm not worried about Yildiz in the slightest, I think we just need to support him a little more tactically so that he's able to do the things he's able to do. Because right now he's being targeted, and opponents know that we have no other solution. Right.
Yeah. There is no surprise factor anymore. You've got to adapt. You got to figure it out, and you have to be ahead of the game there with Yildiz. But this talk of having fears or lack of confidence in being able to have faith or trust in Yildiz, I'm not there. I'm definitely not there.
What's even worse, Berto, is I've grown to really like Chico, and I like him more this year because he's passing more, of course. That was my big problem last year. But when you see him come back and track back and head into the middle and start to build out through the middle, give the ball to the central midfielder and then move out, you've got Yildiz and Chico who can do a lot more than you're getting out of them when you stubbornly, for 6, 7, 8, 10 games, put them out on the corners, on the sidelines, open up the middle of your field to be exposed, because everything you're doing is ramming things down the sidelines to get lost, to go and die in the corner of the goddamn pitch. With two of your best, most exciting guys are stuck in the corners, and your middle's empty, where you get countered on and you get your ass handed to you. So
at the very beginning
Tudor's
of the
got to
season,
figure this out.
At the very beginning of the season, we had a very interesting thing happening with David, Yildiz, and Chico right at the start, where all three were kind of like almost rotating in a certain, and you would find Chico on the left all of a sudden making runs beyond defenders and stuff, and then get the ball. You'd have Yildiz drop back. It was interesting. We just never went with it. And you had a guy bagging goals coming off the bench and whatnot, and all of a sudden he's our starter. He needs to start. It's like, I don't know. You wonder, but I agree with you. I think Chico's been way better for Igor Tudor than he was previously. I've always said he's a good player. He's got a lot of tools there, and he's so young. We can't just say, no, that's it. He'll never get better, whatever. I've never bought into that. I think he can also play there as a change-up to Yildiz and whatnot. I think you've got options, and it doesn't have to be set in stone. There might be games where you feel comfortable and you want to go with the 3-man back set. But when you do that, we can't, like, this whole abandonment of certain players, like João Mario, etc., like, you can't have it too defensive, even if you're in a 3-man setup at the back. So something's got to give, and it's got to play to the game. But a 3-5-2 where Yildiz is paired up with somebody up top will also work for me. And that third midfielder, if utilized properly and we don't do the hybrid thing, and it's, say, Moretti or Adzic working north-south out of the middle, would also be something I'm interested in seeing. But what I don't want to see is us just be set in stone and see 3-4-2-1 over and over and over, hybrid position coming out of the midfield and whatnot. No, it's time to lock in to these guys and what makes sense with them. So let's see if Tudor does that. Champions League. Guys, how do you think we fare? We're 2 points in now, 3 games. You still see us at the same, probably heading a playoff? See us getting into a playoff? Do you think we'll do all right? Next game is Sporting. Are you going to wait? Do you think the next couple games will decide how we go there? It's the same thing we've been saying for me. How does Tudor follow this up? But Champions League, what do you think goes down? Do you see Juve making a playoff and it ends there?
Listen, I see people saying that all the tough games are out of the way. We traditionally struggle versus Portuguese teams. That history is there for everyone to see. So there's no gimmies in the Champions League. And I'm not ready with this team as it's built right now to forward think and make predictions in terms of possible wins and whatnot. It's got to be a game at a time. The schedule lightens up a bit just based on the opponents, but again, it's going to be a tough sled. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah. Paulo, how do you see this going down? Do you want to go game for game? Sporting. At home.
I do, but I want to mention 3 games before that. What I mean by that is when people talk about doing well in Champions League, they say try and do well at home, do well in your league, and then try and translate some of that and adjust for Champions League. I want to see Tudor get the middle figured out, which has been our biggest problem the next 3 games, and translate some of this new structure or confidence or rhythm, balance, all these things, translate that to your next Champions League game. So you're not some kind of new Frankenstein and you're not parking the bus like Real Madrid, but take that kind of structure against other teams that are not really better than you, not really worse than you. And I think we'll be fine. Get it sorted out at home and apply the same thing to Champions League so the team knows what they're doing regardless of who they're playing. We haven't got that figured out yet.
We got to build some momentum. It's one of these things. This discussion came up immediately yesterday after the game. It's like, well, we're done in Champions League, whatnot. It's like, well, you can't say that. I mean, geez. If you look at the table and stuff, it's the same thing I said as last year. There's still way too many games to play. There's 5 games to play. There's 15 points up for grabs. I mean, there's ebbs and flows in this new league setup for Champions League in the group phase. It's completely different in the league phase, completely different. So for us, the biggest thing is taking those building blocks and actually stacking them. And so far we haven't. And that was one of the criticisms I had personally for Tudor earlier in the season. I said, you're creating doubt. He created doubt. The media's running wild on Vlahovic needs to start, all this. No, he didn't need to. He did not need to. You had a decent thing cooking, and then you started scrambling, and you created this shit show where Dusan lost the chip on his shoulder, and David lost confidence. Openda's never really had it, but never really been able to gain it, and he's been all over the place since we got him. One man up top, playing as a supporting player just ahead of the midfield. It's like, what? No. Sort it out, lock it in, and move forward. That's what Juve needs to do. Now, with that said, before we get to storm the barn, everybody, and by the way, reminder, I told you guys I want to pick up spirits and stuff. We're going to have a giveaway today on that beautiful kit that Paolo's wearing. Well, not that kit. We're not going to take it off him here live on the show and just give it to you, okay?
Tarps off, boys. Tarps off.
Yeah, we got a third kit giveaway. But you guys got to get those damn likes up. Let's go. Trimble in here saying, let's go. Let's go. Come on. You got to hit those likes. They got to be at least minimum 80 likes. Or I'm just going to hold on to it maybe for the Lazio match. Speaking of the Lazio match, let's go in the follow-up to this game. You're in charge. How do you square up against Lazio? How do you line up Juventus? How would you like to see them line up? Mas.
I'm actually going to leave you guys to tackle that on your own because I do got to jump off, unfortunately.
Oh, for God's sakes. Give me
I
a
wanted
lineup.
to know your answer so I can use it.
Give me a lineup.
Give you a lineup. I would go with the 4-3-1-2 quickly here. I would put João Mario in there.
João Mario.
Yeah.
Like
Give him some playing time, man. See what this guy can do.
Who's your back two at center back?
Keep putting Rugani out there, and I think Gatti earned the right to be out there. So I would put him out there. Those two.
All right.
And then your two. Oh man, does it really matter? I don't even know. Our strikers are so disastrous right now. It could be anybody. Put David and Vlahovic out there. Can any of our strikers play with each other? I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. So
we gotta get them firing though. I think you get two up there. One will occupy space. The other will have chances. But we'll tackle this one. Mas, sure. Absolute pleasure.
Right,
take care, brother.
Have a great day. Take care.
Well, Paolo, how do you line us up against Lazio?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking about it. I've got a bunch of names and numbers going around in my head. I would like to see David at the top with David and Chico with Yildiz right behind them, And then I think I would do whatever three. I still, in my dreams from years ago, 2 years ago, I still had Loka, Thuram, and Coop. I had Loka, Thuram, and Coop in the middle. And then at the back, I'm open-minded. I think Gatti and Rugani can continue. On the edges, I think Cambiaso, as frustrating as he is, and I know there's some people, especially on our team, who get frustrated with Cambiaso. I still think he's better than the option. And then I think Mario's a disaster on defense, but he's more interesting going forward. Kalulu going forward is a headache. Defensively, he's not perfect either. So I'm not sure about some of these spots, but I do want to see Yildiz behind two. And I want to see a classic three in the middle with Thuram, Loka, and Coop, which I think are a good start.
Yeah, I think if I'm going against Lazio there, play two strikers. Play two strikers. I'd have no fear. 4-3-1-2. Get Yildiz in the 10 role. For your two strikers, I'd probably start with David and Vlahovic, to be honest. Just because Vlahovic will still be able to stay high and play that style, because David will drop down and collect and look to pass and everything, and Vlahovic can stay high. And that's the theory. The theory is to have another body there so that we don't just get completely isolated at the top and lose a player in build-up or in play. Yildiz at the 10, he has got more of a playground to find pockets, to be able to link that mid to the next level. Three midfielders should obviously keep balance left to right, and they should all be supporting the play. It should be a flat three, and they should all be up there and supporting play as well. Your four-man back, that's where the biggest question marks lie. Like, you're going to have to bite the bullet somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, you're just going to have to. Whether it's on the outside as a right back with João Mario, or it's Kalulu as one of your center backs, Gatti. Does Kelly get forgotten about in a back four? Should he be forgotten about? Could it be Rugani and Kelly? I personally would go Rugani and Gatti myself. That's just me. But these are some question marks that, I mean, it's
How's
why I would have
Cambiaso on
liked...
the right? What about Cambiaso on the right and let Kelly have the outside left?
I hated Kelly when we saw him as an outside player. When he came to us last, it was really bad. But maybe he's picked up a little bit of confidence now, and maybe you could try. But I'm more in a pinch. I'm open to McKennie as one of those options that you can keep as an outside player. He's trustworthy defensively. I would have no fears defensively. Okay. We'll get the pass on Vinny because Vinny's made a lot of people look stupid. And he was in the area, so I'll let that pass. But defensively, fine. And actually offensively, I'd actually have more faith in him offensively than I would Kalulu by a long shot. Long shot.
McKennie's got his moments. He's quite intelligent. He has his moments. It's just they're either great or they're horrible.
I'm not opposed to that either. We have to kind of think outside the box somewhere too, but
yeah,
we can't forget about João Mario completely though. Like that's a damn shame. And the whole thing was strange to me. Even if you were picking up João Mario, I was like, why do you have to give away Costa for nothing? And the kids cook it.
I have a theory on that.
Ridiculous.
I think they wanted money, and the only way they were going to get over $10 million for Costa is if we did them a favor and take Mario off their hands. I think that's what went down. I think we got Mario.
No, but we lost him with no capital. It was break even. It was silly. It's a break even move. No capital. Strange. Now, nonetheless, Lazio next up. Must win. Win.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think if he doesn't pull the victory before he gets stormbarred, that Tudor gets sacked? If we don't win against Lazio?
No. I think they're going to give him the next 3 Serie A games to see if he can make anything of this Real Madrid performance and string 3 wins together, or at least get points in all 3, 2 of them being wins. I think they're going to give him a bit more time because there's not a lot of options, and I don't feel the desperation from management. I don't feel it. I feel like they're a bunch of lawyers and finance people, and I think they're waiting till next year, to be honest, to revisit this.
Chiellini coming out there yesterday and stating that, yeah, we know there's a lot of things being said about Tudor, but he's not, he's our guy. We're going to continue with them. We're not going to end up doing that. Or what did he say? We're not going to end up, how did he put it? Getting too overworked or excited right now. We know that we're a project that's still at the early stages and everything, and trying to create identity. Like a lot of identity talk from Chiellini and Del Piero as well. And it's just like, guys, it is what it is. Is what it is, boys. This identity thing and all this and Tudor, like, don't pay too much attention to what the club officials are telling you. I always told you guys that. They could say whatever the hell they want and you'll see differently. This is no different than even Chiellini coming out and saying, no, yeah, we've heard the rumors linked to this guy. It ain't happening. We literally fucking signed him like 2 days later. It was David. When he's like, yeah, no, we've heard those links. Like, there's nothing going on. Guys, don't buy into that. To Mitch's question, say you want players at their natural position. Yes, I want the majority of our players in natural position. Doesn't mean every single one has to be there. And it's actually arguable. McKennie as a midfielder, when he's had his best season as a wingback, 16, some ridiculous amount of assists. I'm not convinced that guy's a midfielder. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not convinced that he's a midfielder. So I'll challenge you on that one, buddy. But we'll keep it rolling. As far as Tudor, if Tudor doesn't win against Lazio, do you think he gets sacked 71%, 68%? No. So we're not feeling that he's going to get the sack after Lazio. The rumors had that he's got 3 weeks' time. Let's see, everybody. Let's see. Now, we've got Storm the Barn. Why do we play scared? We give opposition way too much respect and don't try to expose vulnerabilities. Versus Inter, Atalanta, I'd say even Milan. We don't push them. Madrid had a weak right side. Listen, there's a lot going on in certain media, more respectful media towards Juventus because they're Juve run outlets, but not run by Juve, but they focus on Juve. But they said that a lot of the games have been different and not the same. It's when you stop and think about it, it's a part of it is true and a part of it is false. You know what I mean? Because it's like the games have different circumstances that have been in there, but we've also had a lot of the similar shortcomings. You know what I mean? So it's one of these things where I feel like, okay, kinda, but kinda not. It's one of those things. I mean, if we're gonna say why do we play scared and really focus on yesterday, I mean, it's obvious. We kind of laid it out. There's only one way to approach that game against Madrid. If you look at the matches against Inter, even at Atalanta, and I'd say even against Milan, there's one key word that we've been fighting for, and that's balance. Balance in how we play. And it's like, I don't necessarily know 100% if it's scared or if it's the setup and just the lack of balance and just a foundation that you can move forward with. And these guys, if you can look to yesterday's game and tell me that that's a confident bunch, no, that's the reason why they're not killers up top. That's the reason why there's doubts because of the shortcomings that have been in those games that we haven't tackled and done so properly. That's how I feel personally about this Juve. What are your thoughts, Paulo?
Well, we said this last year that every game was different, but mainly because we were talking about a different issue every game that we were getting frustrated with, right?
I still remember your laundry list rant where you were like, here's the problems. And it was boom, 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 boom.
I know. That was kind of funny. I think for recent history, we were scared against Madrid, and I think we had a good first 10, 15 minutes, but when we were passing around in the corner of our own end trying to get out, and then move forward from getting out of that little corner, we were passing nervously. We were getting the job done, but we were playing scared because Madrid had 9 guys, man-on-man press right in your grill. So I think we were scared against a better team, and it felt like it in a place where we were nervous. They were making an impression right then and there. Against Como, I don't think it was scared as much as it felt disorganized and confused and careless, like oopsies. So I don't think we play scared. And I think against better teams like Madrid, we're scared. Other teams, I think we just get confused and disorganized.
Yeah. Tuna's here saying, I don't think we have the players to play balanced. I don't think it's a matter of the players you have that you can't play balanced. I mean, if we're looking at the 3-4-2-1, it's a terrible press when Juve tries to press. It's completely unbalanced.
We don't.
We
half press.
You can't even press in that setup, and they get carved up by Como in
that's
two
Scudetto,
passes.
But that's
in
Scudetto.
2 passes. You know?
Yeah. We don't have the players.
Como, we had 3 midfielders in there, but everything's still they've got to kind of sort.
They got to committed to the press.
Well, that's it.
Move
it's
up
like
as one, down as one,
and that's why you got to lock in. Like he's got to lock in on something, kind of go forward. But the press, like anytime we try to press in the 3-4-2-1, it's not the best at all. Like it is so broken. It's so scattered. It's not balanced. Like you can't. It's more just position, spreading the players out properly, evenly across the pitch. And part of it is being able to carry a threat from left to right. But some games, you got to pick things up as to where the threat is. And yesterday against Madrid, could he have done something a little bit different there? Maybe. But maybe it ends up bad. Like I understand everything he decided in that game, but that's a one-off against Real Madrid. The rest of your Champions League opponents, you're right there with, right? Mm-hmm. So the fear factor should not be there. And that's why all these next key games, your schedule, a little bit tough to start. Lazio, Udinese, and Cremonese should be 9 points, okay? Should be. But we don't have the confidence to say that. So you've got to hit the ground running. He's got to stack it up against Lazio. That has to be 3 points, and then you go from there. But 3-man midfield is a must, I think, for these guys. You can't go otherwise, or you have no shot of balancing the play.
All these other teams we're playing have issues. All these other teams we're playing have weak players at the back. If you look at the Champions League results the past 2 days, Napoli got destroyed. PSG destroyed their opponent, got shown up by better teams. We held our ground. Whatever, let's take that and just put it away for the time being. Other teams have weaknesses, and I think against these next 3 Serie A teams, against the next Champions League teams, whoever the players are that you have, and we know we have weaknesses, organize them, structure them, keep them together, have them move well without the ball into open space, stay tight, move up and down together, get organized, and start to get points. I think no matter what the players we have them. Figure out how to use them. And Tudor has to show that, because if Champions League starts to slip in a couple of months and we're going down the standings like this in a tight race, Tudor is going to be in a lot of trouble. He may not make it. So
they need to have a short memory. They need to be trained like robots. They need to be, hey, who gives a shit about a missed chance? Let's go create another one immediately. Like, keep going. And the fight and the work, it has to be there. They need to be animals. Like, they can't think about anything else. A missed pass, a missed shot, a missed, like, it all needs to go out the window, and they need to just be work. Okay, it's football 24/7. It's fucking fight all the time, every second. And if you're not there for even a couple minutes, it's the next guy up. There has to be a zero tolerance for that level. I swear to God, if we had that fight and that approach and that type of attitude, we would be better off in Serie A already this season. Already this season, we would be better off as far as the points go. And you would not have had that many draws consecutively if that level of fight and attitude was there. It sucks that it takes that to bring it out. Like, you've got turmoil all over your team and you're walking into the Bernabeu. Like, it shouldn't take that to bring something that Juventus has been built upon. That's a foundation Juve's been built upon. Like, that work, that drive, that grinta. Like, it should always be there, period. Identity, all this talk, all this whatever, like, no, defense first. Now they're trying to play tiki-taka. No, bullshit. Nobody's trying to play tiki-taka or anything. Get back to basics, man. Be the team nobody wants to fucking play. And you do that through fight, through getting stuck in. Being pricks, too. Stop being nice. Unapologetically Juve. These guys need to be, they need to be developed into these monsters, into these robots. You don't just, and this is why I say about like Juve as an organization, like, these are things you can't just talk about, you know? You don't just talk about it. You have to live it. You have to live it on the day-to-day at Continassa, at Juve. Like, if we make everything a pass for all these guys, are they going to give a shit? Why would they give a shit? They can go out there, I kind of half-assed it today. I know I'm starting next game. You have to live it. You have to live it. I hope they can, because I swear to God, just show me that. Just show me that consistently. Should we keep Kelly, Gatti, Rugani, back three, next 3 games? We have nothing else. Give them consistency. Same with Loca, Thuram, and Cope Miners. Maybe Moretti. So should we keep Kelly, Gatti, and Rugani as our back 3? I want to scrap the back 3. I'll be quite honest.
I think if you're doing back 3, I don't mind that. I'm really hung up on the middle, though, because when the middle's sorted out, it helps the back 3 or the back 4. It helps the front 2, the front 1, the front 3, whatever it is. So for me, it's sorting out the middle. I'm so frustrated with the middle.
If you want to go 3-man back line, I'm fine with Rugani, Gatti, and Kelly. Absolutely fine with it. And I would do that. If you want to stay with the 3-man, the only way forward is 3-5-2, no 3-4-2-1. And then Yildiz would have to be a second attacker with free reign behind one striker or next to one striker, however you want to look at it. That's the only way I'm cool with a 3-man going there, because a 3-man mid is a must for me on this team.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
So, yeah. I would be fine with that back line if you're going to go with it, though. Kalulu, God bless the guy's heart for his work rate and his engine that he could just go for 95, like full go, no stop. But God damn it. It is like watching a deer on ice trying to dribble that thing up and like do all this stuff. I'm okay with Gatti and Kalulu rotating as that right CB. But my God, yesterday I really felt for the guy, man. And I know I was cursing some of the plays and whatever, but like, he works his ass off. But that's just a case of him not being in a position to succeed, really. Like, it's one-dimensional, right? It's all defending.
It's not his fault he got started. It's not his fault that he got 3 or 4 or 5 great breaks down the right side. It's not his fault Vinny doesn't want to track back.
Yeah.
He just couldn't. He struggled to figure out what to do with the damn ball.
He just could. It
out of
takes
his comfort zone.
I was laughing yesterday because I said, God damn, and not just him, to be fair, but like we get in the final third and it's like these guys are on dial-up fucking internet still, and it's just like they're just waiting, and I'm like, guys, holy hell, you're not gonna have that much time. What is going on? It's crazy. It's crazy. Choose one Juventus player to replace for each outfield area on the pitch and name 3 replacements for them. Like, in the entire world of football? That's crazy. Crazy talk. Crazy talk. Way too long. Way too long. Let's try and minimize this somehow. Let me think about that one. Have a feeling a key piece of our team leaves Juve in January for reasons we won't understand. Even if it isn't a key guy, maybe a player, João Mario, could be sold. Thoughts? So Tuna's got a feeling that a key piece of our team leaves in January. What do you think, Paulo?
It's hard to say because I don't know who people want or would want other than Yildiz, of course. What we would get for them to make it worth the move, because in January you want to charge more. And do we replace them? So if you're thinking about naturally, Dusan could go if he's doing well or if he gets back in form that he had earlier in the season. There's people who would want to put him in their lineup in January for the last push, Premier League specifically. I can see people always asking about Chico, maybe asking about Yildiz. McKennie might go at the end of the year anyway. Will someone pick him up? Heck, he barely cracked the lineup at Leeds, and now MLS is knocking at his door. I don't know if he's going to generate interest, so I don't know if a key piece will go. That would go and be a good price, and that we'd pull a trigger on or be able to replace. So I don't know.
Yeah,
foggy.
I don't think too much is going to happen in January. I'll be quite honest. I don't think too much is going to happen. I still feel like we're probably going to see Bremer come back in the new year, like during the Mercado opening up. And Cabal's expected to start running again next week. I don't think they're too hot. I don't think Juve's too hot on doing business in January. If they might be able to make a sale, they might look at it. The João Mario thing, I mean, you might have to look at it, but
I'm worried Bremer's done. That's my hot take. I'm worried he's done. I'm so scared. And knock on wood, I love that man. But I'm really worried because that injury, that might be something that never changes.
I said it. Yeah.
If there's anybody in the world who will do everything perfectly to be healthy, focused, serious, professional, every exercise, every day that the trainers are telling him to do, physio, everything, it'll be him doing it. He's one of the smartest guys on the planet. And if he can't get that damn thing to hold, no one can. I'm really worried about him. So knock on wood, I hope I'm wrong. If we went out and splashed money, big money on a really good midfielder or another defender, I would not be totally surprised, and I would be looking to find a Bremer replacement. I think the bank's closed though. I think Elkin and all those lawyers and fucking finance people are going to close the bank this year. So I'm worried about that, but I think we do need a big move of some kind in January.
The meniscus thing is nasty and
frightening.
That's why for me, like, I mean, even last summer though, this lack of priority at the back is crazy. A glaring sore spot with 2 guys coming off ACL, but it's a major concern with Bremer. I know that when we first reported it and stuff, it was like, oh, this is what they're calling for a return date. It was like 6-8 weeks. I'm like, but that's like return to training. And then you have to see, and then you'll know what actually happens. Because I always said, like, you're not going to know until that guy gets back on the training pitch. Because meniscus, look at the history we have with meniscus too, just in Pogba and Milik alone. And that's the whole reason. Like, and everybody was trying to like tell me, no, you're worried too much about Bremer. Like, Paul, the only reason he had a problem was because he tried to rehabilitate and his was a full tear, whatever. I'm like, no, you don't rehabilitate a full tear. It's surgery. I was like, he had a partial, the same as Bremer. I go, Bremer decided to go immediately. He opted immediately for surgery to repair it, to go from there. The reality of the situation is with meniscus injuries, there are a lot of factors that play in. This is the same knee that he had the ACL tear. That's going to play a part in it. Nobody is going to know how this thing is going to shape up for him, and it's a damn shame because he is legitimately the best center back in Serie A. And if this thing nags and goes on, that is a huge blow for Juve, and not just on the pitch, but that's literally one of few real assets on your roster.
You might have to keep him out all year, because if this thing goes wrong again, this guy's he's got to start thinking about his career, like whether
he's
the
29,
future of his game.
He's 29 years old, man.
It's now or never, and I think you might need to keep him off another year. And even then,
that's a
really
this
sad.
is a huge this was a
Really
huge thing for Juve, not just like I said the player himself, but this is it's an asset that is just hurts you even more, because even if someone was going to come in and wanted to buy him, and even if he did want to go to the Prem, like he said one day he wanted to play, like the value is going to be probably shot, which just sucks and is just Juve's luck lately. It seems like crazy, but let's see. We miss Savona, Imbangula, and Weah.
Yeah,
I could argue that all three would have become useful so far this season. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, the thing with Savona was wild to me, because I'm just like, how, if you wanted to carry forward with a 3-man backline, I'm like, how doesn't he play? Like, how doesn't he play? Because he made a lot of sense to me as a right center back. I was like, he actually can play a right center back quite well. Club World Cup, played a couple games in the heart and looked way better than he does on the outside. I'm like, I'm not convinced he's an outside player. I don't think he is. But it is what it is. Weah, I was of the thought process in the summer, one of Weah or McKennie needs to go because they're both utilities. So I'm not crazy there. And I think it might be highlighted more just because of the fact that Jagrova, we're still waiting for this guy to get fit.
surprise.
Yeah. And then Imbangula pissed me off. Cheap price. Really promising player that had the balls to try and make something happen and would shoot when he had a fucking line of sight on goal. Yeah, I mean, but it is what it is. Like, who are you selling otherwise? Like, it's calls were made.
And our books are still fucked. But Weah, he had trouble finding his role and thriving in it. Mbangla, beautiful off the left side with all these forwards. Would he, and in the system, would he find a home and consistency? I don't know. Savona was the one that seemed a real oversight. I'm a big fan, obviously, but obviously
I'm going to say this. Let's change it up.
Center back.
Of the three guys that were that got goodbyes, the three players that got goodbyes, Savona, Imbangula, Weah, you could pick one to bring immediately back to the squad.
Savona. Yeah,
Savona?
Yeah.
Chat, you could pick one to bring back immediately. Who is it? I mean, given the circumstances, probably would be.
Yeah, and
Savona.
also Weah, we don't know his upside, but we saw kind of where he was arriving at. Savona, I think we still had some growth there.
Yeah, it would be Savona. I mean, you're looking for help at the back. Yeah. It would easily be Savona for me, especially if you want to continue the 3-man back set. Yeah. Some shouts for Alberto.
Alberto, yeah, sure.
Keep the fight going. Keep the fight going.
Good kid.
4-4. I got a kid out of it with my name on it. It's cool. It's somebody in Philly. He walked by. He was like, wow. He's like, I've never seen an Alberto kid. He's like, that's crazy. He's like, it's crazy that somebody would get Alberto. I was like, my name is Alberto, man. Like, relax. And he's just like, oh, okay. It's like, yeah, pump the brakes. Easy. And then he's like, wait a second. He's like, I know you. And I was like, yeah. 4-4-2 diamond. Openda, David, Yildiz up front. Openda, David, Yildiz up front. 4-4-2 diamond. So you want to go. So essentially it's 4-3-1-2 is how you want to. Yeah, it's a 4-3-1-2. So diamond in there. Openda and David up front. I'm fine mixing and matching with the strikers, and I would definitely personally try this. For sure. There's a lot of people after yesterday's match saying you definitely have to stick with that setup. I don't think so, because you can't play all four of your center backs at the same time. That's a recipe for disaster. Jay Medical is just sitting there licking their chops. Okay? No.
And you shouldn't have to. Like, you shouldn't have to. I mean,
okay, so Sikoko, same thing with the 4-4-2 diamond there. On a scale of 1 to 10, how high is your belief that we will be battling for Scudetto this season? Oh, I guess the question would be, how high is my faith that Tudor can put this together? And I'll be honest, even if the replacements come in, on a scale of 1 to 10, how high is your belief that we will be battling for Scudetto? I'm at like a 4 or 5.
That's exactly where I was at the beginning of the year. I said, I believed that it would be really tight. The top 5, 6, 7 would be very close and separated. 1 and 2 by 6 and 7 by only a few points. And I was really worried that we'd be stuck somewhere between 3 and 6. And I still feel that we're in that 5, 6 area. So I'm 3-4 as well. I'm not excited. I'm not very
actually
confident.
I guess I'm thinking about like battling for like, yeah, but Gio's got to
win
point
it
here.
all.
Battling 9, winning it 6. That's actually probably pretty fair, because it's like, are we gonna? My 3 or 4 is faith in probably taking it. Battling for it. I mean, this is the one thing I've always said Juve's got going for it. Serie A's ass, man. Like, it's not running away from Juve. We've been struggling for years now, and you're still like find yourself one season where you're top going into January. You've got another season where you piss away 24 points in advantage last year, where you could actually win the Scudetto. Like, you could struggle to a Scudetto. Like, people need to realize you could struggle your way to a Scudetto. That's where Serie A is at right now. So battling for it maybe should be a little bit higher. But I'm thinking about, yeah, of course, winning, right? Like 3 to 4.
And right now we're not coaching or playing for points. We're kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
but I mean, not winning it right now.
It could shift too very quickly if we can get some type of momentum. We have to have momentum. You have to get momentum. It is critical. It's critical for a season to like have objectives of winning trophies. You have to go on runs. You have to.
And you have to figure out, injuries aside, you have to figure out your plan by now and try and play that way and a bit better to build up towards that second half. Look at
you've got to have.
Como was a result of all these crazy, silly performances, and I feel like we're back to square one, if not -1. So it's a bit late to figure it out and go on a run, but we need one.
And that's why it's time to like lock into things too, right? October 23rd.
Lock into something. In the middle, for example. Lock into something, decide, go.
Lock into something, go, and carry forward with it, and give it time. Give it a little bit of time to develop, and before shutting it down immediately. I remember at the start of the year, like I mentioned earlier on the show, David, Chico, and Yildiz, that's something you should work on and look at it at that point in the season. You let it fade. It's gone. Okay, done. Now move forward. Now find your next thing and lock into it. 3-man mid, lock in, let's go. I'm starting to think buying Jagrova was a big mistake. I hope I'm wrong. Was it a big mistake to buy Edin Jagrova?
I've never been one of the fanboys of Scudetto, so I saw him take advantage of a weird play in Champions League last year that made him look stellar. I'm sure he's a better player than one play. I was never a fan because I thought there was a bit too much hype around him. The injury for a year scares me right away. His price was okay. So I hope he is healthy, and I hope he does some of these great things that people are excited about. But I'm not one of the fanboys, so I guess we'll see.
Man, the thing that I always thought was Eric Shakrova. That kills me. That's gold, Gio. Eric Shakrova. Nice. Reminder, guys, get the likes up. I told you, got to hit 80 if you want this kid. Otherwise, we're going to hold on to it for Lazio. Let's go. I said it back in the summer when we're talking about Jagrova. So was it a mistake to sign it in Jagrova? Why couldn't we wait like other teams do to see how he recovers? And he was not renewing where he was at. He was about to go into a free situation at the end of this season. Our priority was fucking the back line, you guys. It's weird to me. Like, if you would have gone back and you would have kept in Bangula, waited your time on Jagrova, picked up a defender, you might be better overall. You know? Was it a mistake to sign him, though? I mean, the season's still very early. But I need to start seeing this guy be able to play for good, because he is a good player. I don't think he's not a good player. I just think I was concerned with his injury and the fact that he hadn't played in so long. And it's like, man, the price is cheap. You're taking a shot. But remember what I always said. Were Juve in a position to take that shot? Not really.
Like Openda too. There's a bit of a shot there.
The thing with Openda is it's not guaranteed money because it's not obligation. So he could just go back and we're okay, right? So it's like a 1-year rental. But this, it's a bit different. It's like, are we in the position to take these luxury shots? Not really. So I don't think it's wholeheartedly a mistake, but it's something where we might look back at Camoli and think, hey man, a little bit strange. And I said throughout the Mercato, I'm like, Camoli's showing me some good and he's showing me some questionable shit. I'm kind of like so-so, and I still am on him. But of course, early days. Jagrova, fingers crossed this guy can get in and start actually playing good minutes and not 10-minute cameos, 15-minute cameos, and then being out for a while. So let's see. Let's go here. I don't like when people blame our bad form on our squad lacking quality. Do people think the likes of Como, Verona, Bologna, Atalanta have better squads than us? Hey, we've kind of talked a bit about it, so you got to put it aside anyways. I mean, the reality is Juve fans are accustomed to strong players with a history of strong players. This is the reality. Okay? And shit, if you go look at that last time we played Madrid Champions League squad, and then you look at this one, this one's more reminiscent of that one in 2000, was it 2009? 2008 or 2009? Funny enough, the last time we went this many games without a win, 7 games going back to 2009. And I think it was the 2009 season where you'd probably have to look at that squad with Melberg in there and like all that crew to be more comparable to this team. And I might actually argue I'd take the other one because it had ADP up top. But it's never going to shake. You're always going to want top quality, and Juve should be getting top quality players. We know the reasons why that's been a struggle. But it can't be like we wash our hands and we're like, oh, that's it. This is just like, it's a lack of quality, whatever. No, because that's also not the mentality that the organization and the club needs to have if they want to build a culture. It still has to be, guys, no fucking excuses. So if you're asking your players to bring out a no excuse attitude, game in, game out, you got to have the same mentality if you're a coach. And that's why Tudor's words as of late have been pissing me off. Even though I like the guy and I respect the guy, I don't want to hear about the fucking summer anymore. I don't want to hear about the summer anymore. I'm done with it. These are our guys. Figure it out. Are we capable of more? That's the question. If you want to keep getting into quality, yeah, there's a lack of quality there, but are they capable of doing more than we see? Abso-fucking-lutely for me.
Of course.
Yeah. Because to Sikoko's point, you've got all these other teams that play better, organized, more structural football than Juve. So yes, we are capable of more.
Yeah, and they don't have the quality player. They have the right player to do that particular job and hope that it works out, and that's how they survive. We've been spoiled with having great teams that are established culturally and established tactically with coach and with talent. So when someone comes in, whether they're good or not, you're having one or two pieces come and go, and they come in and they know the law of the land, right? And they get in and they get up to speed mentally, physically, tactically, right? But we don't have that luxury right now, so we need more than ever the coach to make sense of it all and get them playing. Because when you're winning, it's easier to be more of a Juventini with Grinta and all this stuff when you're winning. Like any team, they play better when they're winning. So the coach right now has to get more out of these guys. And that's a question that's going to haunt Tudor, and it's going to make people skeptical, is if Palladino or whoever came in, let's say, in a month or whatever it is, would they say, number one, Yildiz goes here. Number two, 4 in the middle, 3 in the middle. Number 3, 4 at the back. Do they say, I would do this if I had this team? Let's do it. And does it make a difference? We will see. But it's up to the coach right now. The players are who they are.
Yeah. Would you look for someone to replace Cambiasso in January? In the January window, where would you spend the money if you're Juventus?
Money, and how much?
You could fill one spot realistically in January. Who would you be shopping for?
I'm still trying to figure out how Tudor wants to play this team. Definitely not up top. I still believe Loca, Thuram, and Coop can do something in the middle. I'm hoping Moretti and Adzic can help out there a little. At the back, I think if Rugani goes down, knock on wood, or Gatti or somebody, yeah, I would probably go somewhere in the middle at the back, I guess. And hopefully get somebody who's going to be around for 4 or 5 years as a Bremer replacement. If Bremer does not come back in full form, knock on wood, I hope he does. I love the guy, but
it's got to be it's got to be someone at the back.
Spend 40 to 70 million, 40 to 70 for someone at the back.
If you're looking immediate, got to be someone at the back. You know, guys, I hate to do this, but you didn't get the likes to where they need to be.
Uh-oh.
I don't think we can do the jersey.
What are we at?
Wing of Winter. Lippy said it. Best players don't make the best team. Aaron saying we don't have the talent. We don't have blue-collar workhorse players. What do we have? We have players that make big wages. You can't just create talent. You can't do that. But you can create a mentality. You can create workhorse. You can create a workhorse. You can create workhorse mentality. It's just like, again, it's got to be drilled into these guys, though. There are coaches that make a fucking living off that. There are coaches around the world that make a living off that, just creating that workhorse mentality. That, you know what, guys? You go out there, the one thing that is non-negotiable is the other team has to pretty much go to depths they've never reached to try and beat you. Yeah. And that's bare minimum.
Never get outworked, right?
You never get outworked. All the talent in the world won't matter if you don't work your ass off.
What is it? Hard work outworks talent when talent doesn't work hard? Something like that?
Yeah. There was a comment here from Aaron that said, the players don't become top quality because of the jersey. We have to bring in the top quality guys. We haven't done that for many years now. These are no longer the top quality guys. The issue is that if you're a top quality guy, are you going to end up coming into a team that doesn't know? You don't even know what the fucking team you're walking into is. Who are they? What is their identity? Does that make sense for you? Does that make sense for Juve, for the player they're signing? You have to lock into something. So while Chiellini and Del Piero are spending a lot of time talking about identity, they're not in the wrong because you've got to kind of sort that out. What kind of team do you want to be? Right now, the team you might have to be right now isn't necessarily the team that you want to be. Maybe a year down the road, 2 years down the road. And I think that might be the biggest issue is that we're trying to take players, we're trying to bring in players, we're trying to make something, but you know what? It's just not quite there. And what we're not doing in the meantime is just saying, okay, well, what makes sense for who we have? Let's create the identity for who we have. Rather than do this and say, oh yeah, no, this guy's not delivering, this guy's not. How do you make it work? Because that's where we are lacking. So figure it out for now, what you want your identity. For me, it's obvious. Yeah, we lack talent. So if you lack that high-end quality, you have to act the way we did against Real Madrid, because whenever you're trying to make up the gap in quality, there's only one way to do it, and that's work your fucking asses off and become the tough guys. Become the bastards, the sons of bitches, the guys nobody want to play. You got to get a little chippy. You got to get a little dirty. You got to get stuck in. Do it. Do it. Mm-hmm. Right? And I always said, like, we need an asshole on the team. I would love to have a midfielder that, like, and even if somebody in there could kind of become it, like, if Loca had a bit of a mean streak on him on the pitch where he could just kind of like start to take attention from guys and allow Yildiz just that extra bit of breathe, because it's just like, man, this guy's a prick. He's always coming in just that little bit, and give him that extra elbow. Give him that extra drive. Give him a little shot here and there. Like, you need somebody to just all of a sudden start taking the focus and be a prick. Like, we need an asshole somewhere on the pitch that everybody's focusing on. That's just like, this guy's pissing me off. He's pissing me off. Take guys out of their game. I'd love to see it. But start going that route of being a team nobody wants to play against. Like, find something, whatever it is. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't have to be that. That's what I kind of see this team as. Do you see them as a different identity, Paul? I just see that I think we should go as not the tiki-taka guys, because we ain't them. I don't think we need to be cute in the final third because we're not them either. I think this team needs to be the workhorse. It has to be a workhorse team. I don't see anything else. You're not going to be pretty, dance up to the final third, which we seem to believe we could do against park buses, which just blows me away. Be that prick. Shoot the ball from range. You get a line of sight on goal, shoot that fucking ball and chase in. Run hard. Like, create havoc in the area. Send numbers. Like, that's the only way I see this team succeeding, to be honest. Trying to be something we're not ain't going to be it. And we've tried that. What do you think? Do you have a different vision for the group right now? I know this is not what we want to see this team be 2 years down the road, 3 years down. We want to see more quality come in a healthy game. But right now, this is who I believe we should be.
Yeah, I think we could be something like that. When you look at some of the issues with this giving away the midfield, this pivot thing, this whole stress we've had the past 5-6 games over losing the middle and getting caught and then being cut through the middle, we waste a lot of energy that way too, right? So what I would like to see is that energy harnessed in a more compact group that moves up and down. And if you can stay compact and you can be very physical, take shots from outside, go for rebounds, when you're on the offensive side of the pitch, force the ref to make calls and decide what they're going to let go. And in the meantime, punish the other guy. We don't have a small team. I think we have a fairly big team, physical team. If we stay tight and compact and get a little more filthy and a little more tough, like Tudor probably can bring from a group of players, and stay close, support each other, stay tight, I think we can put a lot of, at a super high aggressive press, we can force other teams to make mistakes, to get beat up a little bit, to give up chances, to get that first goal. Madrid were selflessly putting everybody forward and saying, go ahead. You know, if you get your 2 chances, bury them, but we're going to try and get 7 or 8. We need to have a mentality where we stay tight, compact, and aggressive forward. So, yeah, I think we can be a workhorse team if we tactically and from our formation stay compact and tight, move up and down together, and attack as zebras, attack as a group.
There you go.
But spreading out the field, no way. Never going to work.
Yeah, I agree. Now, we're gonna end it there, guys. I'm gonna take that kid. We're out of time. I'm gonna take that kid into the Lazio match. Okay, let's get it done at the weekend. Let's get it done at the weekend. Still love all you. Drop the likes, subscribe if you haven't already. Paulo, early shot at Lazio. 3 points coming. We're gonna win that game.
At home? I haven't even checked. I've been so.
Lazio, I believe, is back at home. I could be mistaken, but let me just quickly check while I got it here. Lazio is actually away.
Okay. I don't think it matters. I think there's going to be a little bit, or it matters enough. I think there's going to be a little bit of confidence coming from these guys who I think haven't given up on Tudor and I think like each other. So if Tudor can put them in a situation to be compact, tight, and strong, I think we can beat Lazio 2-0. So like with any Serie A team, I think we can beat any of them, and I think Lazio is a game we can win.
We're winning that game.
Up to Tudor.
We're winning that game. But for now, yeah, there's still mixed feelings around this match we just kind of covered. A lot of question marks around this team, and it's up to the guys in charge to to these guys in charge to sort it out and put it together. Hopefully they do.
Like the Pesh Mode says, get the balance right. Come on.
Get the balance right. It's all about the balance. Let's go. No, don't worry about it, RB. We're giving it away at the weekend for Lazio, all right? But we got to keep guys in check here, you know? Like, come on. We're only asking for max likes here on the video. I mean, this is a relationship here between the AJC and the Army. You got to do your part. We'll do ours. It's okay. We got a ton of kit giveaways anyways. And the next members, for all the elite members there on our memberships, which now are available, you can join our memberships over mobile as well. They finally changed it. You don't have to be on a desktop. Those guys will have their kit giveaway going down at the same weekend, okay? So don't worry about it. We got 2 kits this weekend. And until next time, as always, thank you. Fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Let's continue to see if Tudor can put together, albeit there's a few, but let's see if he could stack those building blocks together. Let's go and get that win, okay? Winless in 7. We'll turn it around and hopefully give Lazio one of these, okay? Let's go, everybody. Paulo, absolute pleasure. And for Mas, who had to bail early, always a pleasure with him as well. Thank you, guys. Talk soon. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.